Fine, I'll watch it. I am Smoking Phat J.
I am Matt Christy. Who are you over there?
Who are you?
I am James Cope.
James Cope coming in probably with a more positive view than usual.
Yes. This is the new and improved James Cope.
Right,
well, the real James Cope is being affected by a tsunami, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. Also, this James Cope has titties, so this is a better one.
There we go.
And a little bit easier time going on the sun.
There you go.
We are actually pulling double duty tonight and for the next several weeks.
Until we pull triple duty, which case, fuck us.
Yeah, exactly. We are going to be reviewing both the first two episodes of Creature Commandos and the first two episodes of Skeleton Crew.
Hells yeah.
The beginning of the DC, well, not the beginning.
Well, we'll explain. We'll explain.
And some continued story in the current, or at least where they're telling current stories in the current prequel stories.
No, no, it's in between.
Yeah, so there's still prequels.
Not the prequel stories. The sequel.
They are. Prequels.
It's in between. It's in between the base stories and the
prequel to present,
sequel stories.
What would be present?
It's a pre-sequel.
Yes, it's a prequel to what would be present day Star Wars.
Yeah, there you go.
Whatever. Skeleton Crew, yes, Star Wars babies as we call it out here.
Or Steven Spielberg's The Star Wars.
Yeah, the Star Wars. So we'll be reviewing both of those shows this week. Make sure that you like and subscribe to keep up with this and all the rest of these shows.
Wow.
Let's start. It's early before the kids go to bed. Let's start with the skeleton.
Before the kids go to bed. Kids aren't watching.
God, I hope our child's asleep.
He's streaming us right now. We just don't know it.
Yeah. So this is the Jude Law headed Star Wars that they've been talking about for a while.
Yep.
We've seen a few trailers for it that we've talked about on the show. We already mentioned very much Steven Spielberg Star Wars, something like that. So I was initially pretty excited for this, you know what I mean? Going into this, and just to come right off with it, I still am pretty excited for this. Like, this was fun. I had a lot of fun with this. It may have started a little bit slow, but by the time the second episode came around and they were on the pirate planet or pirate asteroid or whatever it is, great. It felt very Star Wars to me. I thought that I think there's a lot of potential in this.
I was very cautiously optimistic the entire time, especially when it was first announced, 3 years ago now?
It's been a while.
Yeah. Fun thing.
Yeah, just like a hot second.
The Daniels direct one of the episodes coming up, and they're the ones who directed Everything Everywhere All at Once. Mm-hmm. And apparently the backstory on it is they actually had hired them before that movie released. So, that's how long this has been going on. All right. Going with
it takes a couple seconds to make a Star Wars anything.
Going with the recent history of Star Wars, though, I was fearful that this was somehow going to get axed because of all the things that have been getting axed, but in Star Wars and everything like that, and how well everything has been not going for other shows. But yes,
the Acolyte.
Yes, the Acolyte. But no, yes, seeing the first two episodes, it's like, oh, yay, I enjoy Star Wars again, or at least this Star Wars. So, if you're of a certain age, like everybody on this show, it's like,
he called us old, you guys.
I know this stuff. I recognize all of this stuff, and there are so many references in even just these first two episodes.
Miranda, what were your first impressions?
It's so cute. It's super fun. Like, I know this sounds ridiculous, but I didn't know what to expect from it, like, at all. I understood it was supposed to be a kid's show, but I feel like it's a bit more than that. It's got a level of sophistication that's above basic, just like cartoons per se.
I was very worried
Um,
it was going to be Ewok Adventures type stuff. And to be fair,
mhm.
there's a
I
little
thought it
bit
was
in
going to be
there,
like
but
kitschy, cute, whatnot, but it has depth to it, which was kind of fun. I think that it's definitely calling on the, you know, actual Star Wars babies to see how well they can reference things or understand things or recognize things. So it's fun watching it with our kid for the aspects of what he's interested in and whatnot, to see how he reacts to things and see how he feels about things and his level of intriguement, because it does play like a sort of adult Star Wars show, but with kid aspects to it and kids being in it. And so I feel like it reaches a nice broad audience because of that.
well, look at, I mean, they definitely are pulling a ton from the Goonies, and the Goonies was very much for kids, but there's murderers and dead bodies.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? There's bad shit going on in that movie. And it is one of the most beloved kids' movies of our generation. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I think that they're that's what's happening here. Like it's kids, but it's still in adult safe stuff. I think one of the great things about it is too is it's really tough to have kid actors that don't come off as super fucking annoying. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yes.
that's really the trick, and I like all these
And we
kids.
have
They're
strong
fun. You know what I
young
mean?
female actors that are just killing it. Like these girls are just dominating, and that is
Where's
super
the
fun to
boy
watch
from too?
because
The main boy, is he from the Jungle Book? Was he the Jungle Book kid?
No, he's the voice actor for the
What
youngest
the
kid. No, the youngest kid in Kanto, the one who gets the animal powers.
Okay, okay. I knew I
oh, see, I didn't make
recognized
that realization. That's super
Yeah,
cool.
the voice more than the face. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I mean they're a lot of fun. The droid, voiced by Nick Frost, is a lot of fun.
Hmm.
I caught that right away, and I was super freaking psyched.
Yeah, I didn't know at all. But I thought it was really great. I thought it was great that his name is SM-33.
Uh,
He's a pirate droid.
and
It's me.
that's been a thing since Solo, which
Huh?
is weird. That's been a thing since Solo that a lot of the droids are being named with these using the letters and the numbers together to make something else other than what it actually is. So
I like
Hmm.
it. It's fine, especially in this. It's perfectly fitting.
mhm.
Um, the here's another whole reason why the Mandalorian season 3 was around, was to introduce that one pirate guy so we can raise
Bane.
pirates again.
Yes,
We see
kept
him
trying to tell our child, look, that is the
It's
pirate
like,
from
yeah,
Mando.
yeah.
But it also gives our timeline that this takes place after season 3 of Mandalorian.
Hmm. Uh,
Since
yeah, apparently, yeah. It takes place shortly after that. Uh, just a lot of things, that there's a lot of things going on. Obviously, this planet is some hidden planet. Like they seem to have things from like Empire, pre Clone Wars,
they have
stuff.
like High Republic. It goes back to near the High Republic times. It's believed right now.
Is that? I think at very least it goes pre-Empire. Prequels.
Well, no, it does. So the theory right now is that it's as far back as 227 BBY.
Okay.
So that's yeah. So it's a while that planet's existed and been apparently hidden from a lot of the solar system, or not solar system, but the galaxy.
And
Mhm.
apparently they're doing Fallout in Star Wars because it feels very, very Fallout. Their whole society, they're taking the goat in the first episode or whatever too. Uh,
It's Treasure Planet.
I mean, they're doing a ton of stuff. I want to go to like some of the references, like they're talking about Back to the Future earlier. There is very much like the community that they're going into looks very like the opening to Hill Valley, and then them kind of when they're on the bus going over the hill, it looks very much like ET. You know what I mean? There's a lot of ET feel. Like they're hitting all of those old nostalgic 80s
I
movie
made
violence.
those calls.
Hey,
Matthew, how many times did I say that this looked like this was referencing ET?
oh,
Oh,
plenty of times, and it is. I mean, that and they figured out the '80s trope of kids riding bicycles everywhere by just changing the mini hover bikes. Like hell yeah.
Yes.
And you give another reason for there to be kids looking for power converters. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? It's you got
Mhm.
Flight of the Navigator feel or Explorers. Like you've done this
Yeah.
every single movie that we can remember.
Hey, the opening sequence was straight up A New Hope.
Oh,
Opening, the way the ship came in, the
definitely.
way everybody was specifically lined up waiting for the boarding party to come through.
But it still felt
Mhm.
very
So,
pirate. I like
yeah.
that. I like that they because we've never really seen except for in that one episode of The Mandalorian pirates. We've heard of them.
Hmm.
You know, if you've
Yeah.
read the High Republic books, there's a lot about pirates in that. You know what I mean? It's one of the main things. But we've never seen it before, really. And the way that they did it, the way that they're harpooning across, and you know that it's much more destructive than how like the Empire, you know, overtook the ship and how they're using tractor beams. No, it's brutal. They're going in, they're doing that. You got werewolf guy dual pistoling coming in and all this shit. You know, you got Urkel in his mask, you know, and stuff like that. It was just it was really a really fun time, a really great way, I think, to establish what pirates are in this universe. You know what I mean? The more scum and villainy part of it. This is doing something that Solo, I think, wanted to do, but they did it because the pirates in that, though, even though it was Darth Maul, all of that shit, didn't feel much different than what the Empire was. You know what I mean? It was just like
That felt more like an Assassin's Guild in
yeah.
Solo, with him just having this mission to go steal that fuel. But yeah, no, this is true pirates.
Mm-hmm.
They did little things like they added a flintlock sound to laser blasters,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. Somebody brought a fucking machete to a blaster fight and killed a guy with it. So I was like, yeah,
We already have one dude with a fucking with
an eye patch.
an eye patch, and then we got another guy adding one in the battle. You know.
SM
My
33.
boyfriend is in this episode, and that
Yes.
made me so freaking happy. I lost my mind.
And he's dressed like a
So
Locutus of Borg.
What happened?
I said, no, Jaleel White.
Yes.
Jaleel White, he's dressed like Locutus of
I
Borg,
got
too.
I got my nerd, my beautiful, beautiful nerd as a Borg, and I was so incredibly happy.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that was great.
You got the mysterious captain, not really mysterious captain if you know anything about anything, in the first episode.
They took
yeah.
they took some points from Taika Waititi, you know.
Hey,
Well, you should have modulated his voice a little bit more and not gave it an English accent.
whatever. It's a kid Star Wars show, so maybe the kids don't get it, but all of us are intentionally supposed to understand. Also, it's a straight up Long John Silver reference as well. Anyway,
Oh
Yeah.
so
definitely. I'm here for this show. I really had a good time. I want to see what happens. I mean, you know, like, and I've always said this, like, this is Star Wars. You better have a fucking Jedi. I want to see a fucking lightsaber, even if it's not going to be a lot, and even though you don't have necessarily a Jedi per se, you've got that going on. You've already let it happen right away. I like that. I like that. But I also like expanding upon this universe with the pirates, with all these other things as well.
I am perfectly fine if Jude Law's character got that key by some other method.
Not.
Like
There better be a Jedi. There better be a goddamn Jedi in here. Well,
There-
not a Jedi.
Yeah, because for a
again,
second there, I was like, did Jared watch a whole different episode of this than I did? Because
no.
I'm pretty sure Jude Law is the Jedi. Even our kid called it out.
no, I know,
yeah.
but
No,
what I'm saying is, I'd be fine if it wasn't necessarily the Force he got the key by, but some other trick method to make the kids believe this.
No, but I'm not about it. I'm not about that. I want him to be a Jedi, or I keep saying Jedi, okay? But
Force user.
yes, and that's another thing that I really like when they expand upon, and it's something that I wish they would have just done more. I think it would have done Acolyte better to do more of that, and not just be like, ooh, maybe it is, maybe it isn't bullshit. If they would have just went deeper into the Force is just fucking out there. The Jedi shit is what is who had the power.
So does this
You know what I
make
mean?
does this make Smoking Fat semi-racist for the Star Wars universe? That he assumes that everybody who uses the Force is Jedi?
Jedi or Sith? Yeah, exactly. I only see two colors.
Well,
You can't just
I
use the
guess,
Force.
red and
It
green.
has to be a Jedi or a Sith.
No,
Like
but
you
that's
can't
exactly
just
what
be
I like.
a Force
So-
user.
But that's exactly because Force users have become synonymous with this Jedi or Sith thing, and I would like to see this universe that obviously has the Force out there. It's kind of like that whole thing where in America everyone says he believes in God's a Christian or whatever, when it's like there's all these other places out here, there's all these other religions, we just don't talk about it.
Well, that
Where it's like, okay, I would like to see a more, of people who have dealt with the Force, but call it something different, utilize it in a different way for different purposes, means, have a different kind of, dogma to it. You know what I mean? I want to learn about that shit in the universe as much as I want to learn about how different pirates are from the fucking Empire. You know what I mean? Like that. That's the fresh stuff I want to see in Star Wars. And I think
So don't just assume that Jude Law is a Jedi because he uses the Force, because I feel like that's culturally insensitive now.
although we do realize that this justifies The Last Jedi.
What do you mean?
The ending of The Last Jedi, that kid who has the Force powers.
Oh yeah.
So
There's a bunch of
everybody people just have Force powers. It's just a thing.
Well, again, maybe the Last Jedi, but not the last person to be able to use
The movie, The Last Jedi.
I know, but I'm just saying.
So here's one interesting take I have of watching all the reactions and hearing you guys talking everything like that. It's like, I remember when this show was first announced, Jude Law was announced as kind of an antagonistic character. Yet they seem to have dropped that narrative in talking about his character, and that he's now kind of a good guy trying to help the kids and everything like that. It's like no, there's something sinister going on with him.
Yeah.
This I mean, so just watching this character.
They put it out in this first thing. I mean, just the fact that he pops out as soon as they talk about the treasure planet.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's pretty obvious to me, but I think it's pretty obvious to everybody that he was not only that guy who was trying to get his people to pay off, then there was the mutiny, and now he's still trying to get that payoff for him.
Yeah.
Or for himself or whoever, you know what I mean, to take back over whatever his plan is. And obviously the kids are probably going to turn him around. He probably was some sort of a Jedi or something in the past, and his better angels are going to take over in the end, But I'm fine with a simple story like that, especially if it's a kid's story. Just give me more of the lore with it.
Right. No, I'm just saying, like, the trailers and the marketing on this, that made him seem like a better guy than he's going to end up being. It's like you.
Jared just needs a way to indoctrinate his children into Star Wars.
Yes, no, just the
Yeah.
Jedi way. Yep. Just no other way except for the Jedi way.
So it does bring up an interesting question.
Sith is the dumb.
It does bring up an interesting question about when Adden was formed in the history of everything, because we established from Acolyte, which is going to stay canon for whatever reason, that the Sith were not really a thing at that time frame, and they came back in. But here's this kid Wim, who has these stories of the Jedi fighting the Sith, and that was only a very specific time frame in known history to the majority of the people, because the majority of people knew the Jedi through the history, and the Sith were this mysterious force, but still not a whole lot of people knew about that in general. So when specifically was Adden formed to pull from this from?
They talked about the Sith as being a previous threat, right? So
right, but that's more of a Jedi thing, not so much everybody else in the universe know.
I thought that there was. I thought that was like old, more of it, like it's like dragons, but they're not around.
No, but well, yeah, but like I said, it's more of a Jedi thing that passed down, not really the common people or anything like that. So
I'm wondering if like that's going to be the much darker thing that's happening in this is that this place is kind of like almost a slave planet for some sort of way that enriches the Republic somehow. That is like some hidden cash pile that there's some sort of resource there that they hide from everyone else. They have these generational thing going on where to keep this running, and that is where the wealth of the Republic really comes from. And that's why it's this hidden treasure point.
well, it's now the New Republic, so I mean it's interesting. But the planet existed before, so like this planet predates the Empire because their credits are pre-Empire credits.
But could this be something that was like because in Andor you have during the rebellion you got several like this little group of rich people that are kind of funding it on the back end, right? You know what I mean? So could this have been one of what the fuck dude from Thor? What was his name? That was in Andor.
From Thor? Skarsgård.
Skarsgård, yeah.
Mhm.
Skarsgård was like one of his little scheme things that he had that they kept hidden from the Empire the whole time. I feel like it does have one. It's got something like that going on. There's going to be some real dark thing that they may kind of just put like, ooh, that's in the background for the people paying attention, kind of thing. That might have to do with something larger.
Well, that one character, the mom that came in at the beginning at the classroom, it's like she was very presented like the Empire characters were presented in Andor.
Yeah, she knows more about what's going on. So does Dad. But I think also they're doing mom and dad are going to be like, oh, single mom, single dad. Like they're going to have a meet because of the fucking kids. It's going to be like, oh, dad and mom should be together. And now the kids that don't get along that good or have to do brother and sister shit.
Thank you, 80s.
Yeah.
Another fun thing about this series is the number of things that it makes canon and is part is
trying to make it the 80s. It's a girl and a guy.
Yeah.
Two girls.
Mhm.
The number of things that are now officially canon and pulled in from other universes that were forever separate, such as the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah, there it goes.
It's now canon.
The TV show.
Yes.
TV show.
I made the comment to Matthew the other day. I was like, they're just going to make all of these things canon now.
I saw that for a second and I had to be like I had a moment. I had a long moment where I just Neanderthal look going, did that just happen? Is that?
So now I get to call myself out because
I saw like some Easter egg video later where I was like, holy shit, it really fucking was. Like I didn't believe what I saw.
And this is where I have to call myself out because I'm the only one who has not watched the Christmas
No,
special.
you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Nothing to worry about.
No, I'm aware that it's not something I need to do research on or read a book report on or go back and even glance at it. I'm good. But
just watch the documentary on the making of it, which is wonderful. No,
all the drugs. Excuse me, especially for Mark Hamill.
Yay, drugs.
Especially for Mark Hamill. He needed all the drugs to recover from his
Yeah.
injury.
That's fair.
So you know it's part of this universe now.
What's up?
Captain EO.
Because the little flying guys.
Yep.
Those were pretty cool.
That's from.
Oh,
Miranda.
shut up. Okay, that's
from.
fair.
Yep. Captain EO is now part of these universe.
Well, they'd already brought ET in.
Oh yeah, no, I know. ET is already.
No. And I called out all the ET references as they happened. I was like, "This is ET, and that's ET, and that's ET."
No, the fact that the ET's race was in episode 1.
They were part of.
So legitimately they're part of this. All of this. So.
It was just fun seeing like certain camera angles shot from that perspective. You get the ET tube. Mm-hmm. Like there were just so many like Easter eggs per se. They were just fun to see.
So many this was they had,
The
we talked about the
practical
Wolfman.
effects.
We had all the practical effects, all the cool ones. We got new things thrown in there. We got the 8 titty broads, what I mean, from the cantina.
From Jabba's palace.
Jabba's palace, or
Yep.
whatever. We got all kinds of shit. It was wonderful.
That was fun explaining that to our kid. Like, that's not a place for kids to go. And he's like, why? I don't understand. And I was like, sexy
So
Twi'leks.
look at the girl with 8 titties. She's got 8 titties.
Mm-hmm.
It's too many.
You know.
What you ain't even got enough appendages. Unless, well, I mean, it's Star Wars, so something.
And it doesn't look like they're. I mean, they may be, but it doesn't look like they're using the volume as much.
There was some definitely noticeable moments where they were like when people had to run.
Right. No, I'm just saying as much. It looks like they're using a more basic setup and everything like that, along the lines of what Agatha did. So.
Yeah.
To me, it looked great. I don't know. Is there anything else we want to talk about, or should we rate this thing?
All these things. No, I think we can rate it.
Miranda, would you like to start us off? What do you rate the first two episodes of?
Am I rating this as myself or as Cope, or can I do both? How does this work?
You are Cope.
What are you talking about?
What is Cope saying this is valued at?
Cope says this is frivolous. This is a waste of our time. Who the hell cares about the children of the galaxy? They are providing nothing to the universe. They are
25 minutes
pointless waste of time. Yeah, like we could have condensed this down to like a 30-minute episode for both of them. Yeah, just one episode, 30 minutes long. A lot less children, a lot more focus on things that are actually interesting. I just feel like we could do better. Even as a kids show, we should expect more of our children when watching these sort of Star Wars things.
So that equals a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
Oh damn!
Because it's children. I don't care for them. I
True.
have to work with them because my wife does, but it's just not my passion. It's not my calling. I'm not feeling it.
Uh-huh. Okay. So okay.
So she's doing 1.5 on this.
James Cope is doing 1.5.
You're doing 4 whole Zim and half of vanilla.
Ha. Side. Oh, Neil.
Let me just tell you how much this fucking elephant dude looks like Disney-fied, 100%. Like, it is so cutesy Disney, and
That is everybody's favorite character, and the one that must be protected amongst all, or above all.
You just kill those elf trees.
I'm going 4. It's a wonderful start.
4.
It's a wonderful start. Caution to previous Star Wars shows, like, oh, those shows had wonderful starts. Let's hope it continues through. But no, everything was there. The nostalgia was there. The action oriented around a kid style movie show was there. I mean, we didn't need heavy fighting and everything like that we've seen from a lot of Star Wars shows recently. But hey, I got all 4 of them. Sweet.
Yeah, the only one you didn't get was
Jude Law's character?
Yeah.
Nice. Jod, whatever his full name is. And one thing I do want to notice real quickly in this review is it's doing a very Spielberg thing when it comes to kids' movies, which is it drops the camera down to their level. Everything is shot as if the camera is set at the kids' level, not at an adult level where it would normally be. So that's why all the adult characters look a little above the camera, more so than anybody else, because it's focusing on that level of the kids, so a little lower than the normal, and it's nice. So
I'm gonna say that I have the same kind of cautious,
Optimism.
Yeah, cautious optimism is where this goes. I think this came out of the park great, so I'm going to give these 2 episodes 5. I am taking him on a whole. I don't think I would have given this a 5 if we were. I know I wouldn't have given it a 5 had we only gotten 1 episode. That being said, this should have just, you know, there should have just been one fucking episode. You know what I mean? But I don't think you needed to trim any out.
Don't
You would've-
don't
you would've
steal
kept
my
it the
bit.
same. You would have kept it the same length. I think. I don't think you would have cut it at all. I think that some of those long establishing shots, some of the time that they took with this, it got me very interested.
No one cares how the kids are doing in school. We
Oh.
don't need to know about their test scores and how hard they're
I
studying.
think we need to for the lore of At Adeline.
That's it.
Or at Adam.
I felt good about knowing or having a good idea of what the lives of these kids were on that planet pretty quickly. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't take long for them to get through, have these things happen, and I got a pretty good feel for how their life was on this planet and how, you know, they kind of wanted to do. They didn't have to overdo a lot. I thought that it was paced pretty well, honestly. And so for that, I'm going to give it a 5. I have some hopeful optimism, and we'll go from here. Next.
I think he just wanted to show off all the Funkos.
And
I don't think it's a
Yeah.
true rating. I'm gonna call bullshit right now. I think he just thinks they're cute. He wants to collect them. We get it.
You're going full James Cope, even though the rest of the review is you talking as yourself. So what does Miranda give this?
what does Miranda actually do?
I thought it was adorable. I freaking loved it. I'm gonna give it a 4.5 out of a 5.
Excellent.
4.5.
I thought it was super cute. I love the elephant character, even though it's, you know, what it
What's
is.
that actually
but-
called? What is the race actually called?
I don't know because it's not
Max
no, it's
Rebo?
not Max Rebo's race. It's a different one.
Isn't it? I thought every
Yeah.
I've seen it says it's Max Rebo.
No.
Everybody thought it was at first, but
No,
the
Max
entire
Rebo's
setup
totally
of-
different.
The entire physicality of him and everything is different from whatever Max Rebo's race
I
is.
think Max Rebo is just
Yeah.
like that, and you guys are being.
No, plus Max
digits on their-
Rebo's
Max Rebo's
even
fingers
just
are different. And
He's been playing music his whole life.
the
That's
trunk,
what
the
he's
trunk.
no,
length
but
is
Max
different.
Rebo's
Hey, you
whole
know what?
facial structure is different.
Yeah, Smash Trunks,
Where
all
his
that
eyes
shit.
are placed, how his ears are set, all of that is very, very different. If you're just gonna, you know, continue to be racist and just lump people all into the same group,
Listen, they're all Max
this
Rebos,
is
they're
not
all
okay.
guys, and that kid obviously was on the Jungle Book, and he was every brown child on every show ever.
Do you want to know what other? Do you want to know what other program was brought into this? The ferryman creature that took him from the ship to the port.
Uh-huh.
That creature was in the Battle for Endor.
The battle for.
Was it
Endor.
what?
Oh, was he?
The second Ewok movie that was made for TV.
Oh, and we also got Star Tours robot too. I guess we should say.
Oh yeah, Rex. Shit, how can we forget about Rex?
What?
It is confirmed that it is not the same, but it's similar. But it
Not
is
the same,
Yeah, it's
but
not the
similar.
same as Max. It's not the same as Max.
So
Boom.
maybe there's.
So it's like being Mexican versus Puerto Rican.
Yeah, maybe they're
Like-
all from the same planet. Like, you know, we're humans, but you know, we consider ourselves different races.
Oh, that means evolution exists. Uh-oh.
Uh,
the Christians
move
the
on.
Christians just dropped off from the show.
Oh, just
Yeah.
now?
They're no longer watching Star Wars.
Just now. They were fine with everything else before. Just now they're done.
Okay, well then let's move on to the other show that we're reviewing. A very different show. Very different show. This is our first from the DC Studios.
The first thing officially put out by the combination of James Gunn and Peter Seraphim. Let's put it that way.
Yes, Peter
Our
Safran.
kid liked the logo, by the way. I let him see just a little bit of
Oh, the creature.
the logo, and he was like, "What's going on with that?" And he was thrilled.
This is pure James Gunn knowing the history of comics, and I was like, I'm going to take this lesser known group and make something out of it.
Yep.
Which is fine. It's like, because James Gunn can write for comic characters, and that's wonderful. But it did the unexpected thing that I don't think any of us were waiting for, which was it canonized the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker into this universe.
Instantly.
Instantly, like in the
Yeah.
first 5 minutes.
In the first 5 minutes, it references both of them.
Yeah, it's like her daughter, which is only from Peacemaker, and the fact that Weasel survived the incident on the island. So.
And then goes further into, like, I think there was a lot of speculation as to who, like, when this happened before this show, because Rick Flag Sr., obviously. So you're thinking, oh, well, this must be before the Suicide Squad.
Yep.
But no,
Nope.
Rick Flag
2 years.
Sr. still alive in the universe, and his son died, was killed by Peacemaker. So,
Yep.
you know.
Approximately 2 years is what they said since the Suicide Squad.
Yep.
So about a year and a half
Yeah.
since Peacemaker. You know, I mean, I thought it was cool to jump right in and just kind of clear the air on that stuff. Don't leave any of that on the ground. I think that's very James.
No,
Gunn
it
thing to do.
wasted no time. It got straight into it. It was like, I hope you're on board because this is what we're doing. So just buckle up and here we go.
I mean, I guess the only negative is that the forced, which you kind of have to have, unfortunately, the forced introduction of all the characters.
Yeah.
Which is always just awkward, but it's like, how do you do it? I don't know a better way to do it.
Yes,
So
the third time for the Suicide Squad, it felt very much like that. There was also a lot of similarities to the Suicide Squad and them going to this other country, and now all of a sudden we're with a princess, you know what I mean? Instead of this, you know, pseudo prince or whatever. I thought some of the intrigue was very interesting into it, and they said coming into this it was going to be very much like a loss, and that second episode did feel like that. First one, again, felt very the Suicide Squad, getting us to a certain point, and then that first episode with all the flashbacks felt very much like, oh, episode of Lost, you know what I mean? We're going to go and we're going to get this character's backstory kind of melded in with something that's going on in current day. You know, it was cool.
yeah, no, I think it's interesting that we're going to see each of the individual characters' backstories as part of the episodes going forward. So until they get to whatever the conclusion is going to be. Which, did anybody watch through the end of the first episode to see the season trailer?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I don't recall a ton of it really.
Well, it was a lot. It was a lot of flashes, but one's very specific flash is apparently there is a future where all of the superhero characters are dead, because there was a very graphic image of Superman being placed onto this cross, and like bleeding out, already dead. So in like this apocalyptic future or something like that. So
Interesting.
it's going. Yeah.
Deadpool kills the DC universe.
I don't know. It's just like.
This is the thing too, and this is something that I kind of thought about when they did jump right into saying, like, canonizing those two things. It's possible that his jump off is animation because he wants to show the death of the old universe.
Yes.
This very well could. You've got throwaway characters, right? In this Creature Commandos, okay? They've referenced the couple things they want to push through. Maybe some, if not all, of these characters, but I would say, knowing James Gunn, he's probably going to kill off a couple of these guys before the end. And
I don't know, because
he may.
Well, no, just because he's talked about that the characters will appear in other things in live action.
He said that if they are the voice that will be the person that plays the role. Not that everybody that's in there.
No, not everybody, but
so what I'm saying is that there's definitely still a couple of these that could go. So I think that you might have this maybe universe-ending thing. That's why you can have the, for lack of a better term, like Snyderverse versions of these characters, you can kill them off in this animated way. You don't got to hire a Ben Affleck or a Henry Cavill, and you can just put them in your anime.
But they have Alan Tudyk.
But they can still keep him, and they
yeah.
can still keep whoever they want to keep, and bring them over to the next thing, or have them leave from this universe and interact with animated versions of these Peacemaker characters or these Suicide Squad characters that they do want to bring through. Because who do they want to bring through from the Suicide Squad? So are we keeping Harley Quinn?
We're bringing through Economist because he showed up in that season trailer.
Economist, for sure. But, I mean, we've got,
Steve Agee, more of him, please. Thank you.
I think this is definitely an
Steve
opportunity. to
Agee.
start
That made me so freaking happy seeing him as himself. I was like, yes.
Now, what I think is going to happen from this is at least one or two of these characters will show up in the next season of Peacemaker. Since now that we've officially established that Peacemaker is part of this universe. That's how this all
Ooh,
works.
that would be super fun.
The cheaper ones.
The Bride.
It's going to be the Bride and most maybe the Fish Girl.
Nina.
No, they're gonna bring in Tudyk. Don't even downgrade that guy.
Oh, I'm sure Peter Gunn wants to bring in Dr. Phosphorus in some way. It'll be for a part of an episode, and that'll be that.
Especially with the success that Alan Tudyk's been having with other things recently.
Oh, he's been having success all around.
Well,
so.
the cool thing is like
I know.
originally is a Batman villain, so
Mhm.
when you get to that Batman movie, you could definitely have him pop in there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that would be a very cool villain to have in the next Batman movie.
Whatever century that comes out in.
Yeah.
So we go through. Who else do we have? We got
GI Robot.
who is the Nazi killer.
Mm-hmm.
Even finds it in the Jenga, which is nice. The interesting story with the Bride and very graphic story with the Bride follows follows the old Mary Shelley's Frankenstein story, Bride of Frankenstein story very closely, which I thought was very interesting. And
Just
David Harbour's creepy ass fucking Frankenstein. I mean, it's rough to watch, but it's very interesting. It's definitely a very interesting storyline to go through. I thought it was.
I feel like it's very important that it's tough to watch him for all the reasons that it should be.
It is, but I also felt like going from that to that kind of cheeky montage of him
At the
chasing
end of the
her
episode?
all over the world. I thought that was a real hard left turn that left me feeling a little put off. Not. I don't know. It just felt like an odd change of pace.
You felt it was too cheeky of a way to prove a point?
No. Opposite. I felt like they were proving a point very well, but then I thought that it kind of minimized the point that they were making by going off into this, here's a montage with this, poppy song. You know what I mean? And then kind of her not taking it as seriously as like the scene that was right before. Because right before, he killed this guy because she was fucking him, right? You know what I mean? And he was super jealous. And then now all of a sudden it's like Scooby-Doo style song. The ghost is chasing them. And, here's Frankenstein chasing her throughout time. And she's punching him, but she doesn't seem horrified by it. It just seems like annoying, cartoony.
Yeah.
This guy's annoying me when, I felt like the gravitas of the scene right before that was diminished by that. So quite the opposite of what you're saying. I think that it felt weird for the wrong reason.
Well, the other thing for that too, though, is that I thought that in the season trailer that they were telling us they were going to show these backstories, and somehow that we would find out what led them to be captured by the U.S. government or whatever. And it seemed like this flashback, which went up almost to the present day, doesn't show any point where the Bride somehow became property of the United States, and yet Frankenstein was able to live his lifestyle that they showed him on the boat and everything like that. So that was a little offsetting as well, or off-putting as well. It's like, what? So why do you have all this? It doesn't show that she has done anything that would draw the ire of the United States, unlike some of the other characters, which seem to have a more specific issue with.
Yeah, I
them,
don't think the United States is here for the drama of, you know, these two that can't get along.
No, yeah, and that she's the only character of this set that seems like she's an outlier to even being a part of this program.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand all the characters are just captured and used however they want to use them, but still, this character in particular doesn't seem like anything she did in her history would have put her in the position that she's in right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a loose.
Yeah.
It's kind of a loose reasoning that we've gotten so far for them to participate at all. Like they were captured, all of them. I mean, the only person we really know why is Weasel.
Well, we're gonna
he supposedly killed these 27 kids. Which
Yeah.
I'm sure is not the case based on trailer stuff, but I think that just you're zapping their heads and making their brain hurt isn't like enough incentive for me to feel like these people are here for this. You know, maybe Nina, because she just seems like, you know, the one who's the most bothered by that. Everyone else, you know, seems like you're not giving them any other incentive. Where with like the Suicide Squad or Task Force X, you had their sentences getting reduced. You know what I mean? They had crazy sentences. You know what I mean? And but still, you know.
Well, I mean, this is obviously a different program from that because they at least explained that a little bit. Waller did that. The Task Force.
You know what I mean? Like if you had a Dr. Phosphorus, we found a cure for your shit, and you want to do this. This is the most thing you want to do, or you know something. You know.
No, I totally.
So you wanted their motivation to be more than just being used and abused.
Yeah, I told.
Yeah.
Zap your head unless you do this. You know what I mean? It seems like you would have to then have these fools, like, you know, and then you're just sleeping in a separate room, and you don't have these guys, you know, like they could just sneak out. Like it just, you know, it a lot of that stuff seemed very loose to me. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with, you've released these monster prisoners to go do this thing, but two of them can just walk out of the fucking place and you don't know, and you're sleeping in this room, and Dr. Phosphorus can sneak in and, oh, you don't even have that fucking button next to you. It's in your drawer. Like, you know what I mean? There was some loose stuff like that I wasn't, you know, I feel like could have been a bit more tied up, and maybe it will get tied up a little later, but there was, you know, there was just some things like that I took a little bit of issue with.
That's fair. No, I totally buy that Waller had this program set up for the reason she said, that Task Force X wasn't going to be allowed to be used anymore. So she just like, fine, I'll just capture these people and use them because they're not human. So I'm just going to use them in a way
Well,
that
they
they'll
already
fit.
had them, apparently. She said like 50 years they've been catching these.
Well, some of them, like, G.I. Robot was most likely brought over right after the war. He's been in their custody.
She specifically said that the program that was catching these monsters used the 50 years. Or something.
You know, I know. Dr. Phosphorus, I'm pretty sure, was whatever happened to the actual person. It's like, okay, that's when he went to the program, which was kind of established with Doom Patrol. So I'm sure they're pulling from that too. The meta, all the metas and everything like that. So I'm sure it's a similar program to what was going on in Doom Patrol there. But like I said, the only character of the set right now is the Bride. It's like they literally showed her up to almost modern day, and at what point did they capture her and for what reason?
Well, did she just go there? It's the only way that she could keep Frankenstein away.
Possibly.
You know?
Possibly.
Maybe we have to wait for more episodes. Explain these things out.
We'll see.
Tell us now,
Maybe
Peter Gunn.
we're wanting too much right now.
Tell us now, Peter Gunn. You're in the credits. Show us.
I know. Come on, man. I know. That was a little... I wasn't particularly thrilled with the needle drops in this either. I don't dislike the songs. It's not the songs, okay? It just is an odd feel. Like again, I can't quite grasp what the feel of this show is supposed to be because there are some elements of it that it feels like they're doing a hard again. And I know this is James Gunn, so it but Scooby Dooish. There's some Scooby Dooish stuff that's going on in here that just doesn't feel like it lines up with the story that with the at least the deeper story that they're trying to tell. Now maybe they're trying to do that thing where maybe it's on purpose and that's fine. I just don't know that I'm there for that tone as much. Like I don't know, it just feels like there's some fun to be had in this, and I feel like they hit that tone fine at some points. But I think there's a deeper story that kind of gets, again, like I was saying earlier, a bit diminished by some of these cartoony turns with these kind of poppy needle drops that they have going on, pop punk.
I feel like a lot of his stuff lately, whether animated, live action, whatever, doesn't have a real serious point to it per se. And I feel like there is a lot of that goofiness in a lot of the things that he does. Because watching Doom Patrol and everything else that's come out, I don't know where the real serious tone is being taken serious enough
Well, Doom
based
Patrol
on
seemed
what
very
we
well
want.
done, and that was
Right.
cool. But I
Yeah.
think that James Gunn definitely, if you look at Guardians, like that's the perfect mix of comedy with fucking heart and much deeper things going on.
I-
And maybe it's not fair to hold this up to that, but no, I take that back. It's totally fair because you've got the same fucking formula right here. I understand you don't want to do the same exact thing, but I just feel like that tone, at least in these first two episodes, has not settled for me personally. It just seems like it's a bit all over the place and doesn't really know exactly what it is.
So I mean, it seems like that his time in Marvel is more lighthearted, and that's intentional. And his time in DC, he can go more into the R-rated side of everything like that, and that's also intentional. It's great. But James Gunn has this particular style that is clearly evident in this as well, which is he doesn't write shows as a event of the week type thing. Like none of his shows that he's done has been like the rest of the DC shows, where it's like we have this one conflict this 1 week, then we go to the next conflict. Some storylines will merge over the course of the season. But for James Gunn, it's like it is one continuous thing where he brings in these other elements of backstory to it as part of the narrative. Because I was thinking this show was going to be, so Creature Commandos, okay, we're going to use them for these different missions and everything else like that. And that's how the show's going to play out. And no, it's not. It's we're using them for this one mission, and this mission is going to take up the entire season for everything that's going on.
Yeah, that is interesting because we haven't ever. He's never done a show, right?
No, Peacemaker.
Peacemaker.
But that's the same. It's the same thing. It's like it's one continuous show for the entire run of its season. This I figure would be a little bit more freeform for him because it's cartoon, and we can do monster of the week, even though they're all monsters. But whatever conflict of the week they have, and nope, it's just gonna be one specific conflict that expands however he was writing the story to expand. So.
And that's a bit of the intrigue that I do like with the whole Cersei, like what is her motivation. I like the little incel army that she had to go against Wonder Woman and shit. Like that's, that's funny, and I love that. And what's the princess's name?
Oh, I don't recall.
I don't remember. But I don't know. There's theories
Princess Aurora from Voltron, because that entire aspect looked like the more recent Voltron.
Well, I have a feeling that
Princess needs a dick.
I have a feeling that a lot of the rumors are probably likely correct. That either or a lot of people out there are saying that seriously is that princess actually that she's trying to poison the mom or whatever, bullshit. But there's definitely something sinister going on there with the princess. Princess,
Princess Ileana or something.
Oh, okay. Princess No Nipples?
I can't-
princess,
I can't think of the
yeah.
rest of it for some reason.
Princess Silver Fox Hunter.
Yeah, that's right. Princess Hunter of
Mhm.
the Silver Fox. It's whatever her name is in Russia. That's what it means. Russian
Yes,
Polish.
there's some sort of
Lost
Russian
or whatever
translation
like that.
Yeah.
that, like, the Hunter of the Silver Fox is just like Katya.
Yeah, yeah. I still did enjoy this. What is it?
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Ilana Rostovic.
Alana
Princess
Rostovic.
Ilana
Princess
Rastovic.
Alana
Ilana
Rostovic.
Okay.
Ilana Vrastovic.
Okay.
You have to have full Russian accent to get correct.
I did have a good time with this. I did like the fucking, I like the violence. I like, I like James Gunn style with like the Suicide Squad stuff. That it's ultra violent. That it is, it's no holds barred when it comes to being R rated. The characters were great. All the actors playing, all the voices, wonderful. I wish Alan Tudyk would have had more to do, but
He's
his jokes
He
outside
had the
of
most
the
important
two of them
job,
perfect.
which is not to rat out his boy while he was doinking the princess.
Well, he ratted him out instantly.
No,
He
no.
just didn't let him go in.
Yeah.
He gave him the minute.
Yeah.
That's fair. He let him finish the job.
What I enjoyed about all that is this first episode, Alan Tudyk is trying to do this kind of more not Alan Tudyk-y voice for Dr. Phosphorus. And then as soon as the gag about the flag in the restroom with the princess, it's like, oh, he just like switched over to his Tudyk
You
voice.
can't tell a joke not as Alan Tudyk.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Yeah, that's fair.
But did you capture the credits? Because Alan Tudyk can never do just one voice. He's also the surfer dude.
Of course.
Yes.
And Sean Gunn pulling double duty. as
Oh, yeah.
Diesel and GI.
Yeah, that's badass.
And did you know who played Victor, babe? One of your favorite guys.
Who? Victor?
Victor.
Which
Yeah.
is that's the,
Frankenstein's creator.
oh, who's that?
Oh, David Harbour.
No. Frankenstein is David Harbour. Victor, the human.
Victor
Uh,
Frankenstein.
Peter Serafinowicz.
I also have a huge crush on that
You
guy.
do.
Who's that?
Peter Serafinowicz is also from Guardians. He also played the more recent Tick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was also in Shaun of the Dead as their dick roommate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
One of the first people to actually get turned.
That we saw got turned. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
is there anything else we should mention in this? Or should we?
No,
go into
like I said, we didn't talk about how we actually felt about it. Yes, I enjoyed it as well. I enjoy that it's short.
Yes.
It's like it is a uniform 23 minutes per episode animated feature, or animated weekly thing. So I mean that's kudos.
Mhm.
We don't need this all over the.
Great for us.
We don't need this all over the place, time, length of the episodes, and everything else like that. So
Yeah.
especially since I'm going to try to get through Secret Level when that premieres next week. Oh my god.
What is it?
Secret Level, that Amazon show about video game characters.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That comes out on the 10th, and it's like, okay, and it's like 15 episodes or something like that.
All of them come out at once?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. I don't know if there's
I'm gonna have zero time for all of
I don't
this.
know if
God
it's a
damn it.
through-line story or how it's actually going to be. We're not talking about it on a weekly basis. We'll talk about it later. Yeah.
Who has time for
Plus,
shows?
Plus, because the world hates us, I have to get ready for Craven the Hunter. Oh, that's a good segue right there. Let's do it. Let's do our rating first. Rating first, and then we'll segue into that.
Okay.
Rating first.
Yeah.
What about someone who watched the first 8 minutes of Craven?
Yeah, it did, because literally anybody can do it. Thank you,
Okay,
Sandy.
let's rate this. Let's go backwards. I'll go first.
Okay.
This one I will give a 3.
Okay.
And I say that very begrudgingly, and it's for the reasons that I already talked about. I just don't like the first show, Skeleton Crew. I know exactly the tone that they're going for. they set that tone right away. It's a tone that I enjoy as well. Obviously, if you don't enjoy that, you wouldn't like it as much, and that's fair. This one does not get as much for me or as much excitement for me because don't I don't see two things. I don't see a definitive tone that for this, nor do I see a super interesting storyline yet. Okay? Again, like this, they didn't give me the ooh at all. You know what I mean? Like you gave me a couple of those in Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
You know, but in this you didn't give me the oh, you know, like you gave me some scenes where now I know the backstory of the bride, but I have no reason. I don't understand why the bride is here other than someone's going to zap my brain. I don't know why the skull is here because someone's going to, other than someone's going to zap my brain. Like it works for like the Weasel and Nina maybe, because like the Weasel's like a fucking dog, and of course you just put a shock collar on a dog and make it do whatever you want. Nina just seems happy to be anywhere, and but everybody else is. I don't understand why. Even Rick Flag says himself that he doesn't really give that much a shit about America or being a soldier or anything. He's just doing it for the money. Like your motivations for these people, you've given me nothing. Right. So you know what I mean. Hopefully we will get to something, but for that I can only give it a 3.
That's fair. I'm giving it 3.5. The half is for specifically for Peter Gunn, because I enjoy his writing. I enjoy what he does with characters and everything like that, and how he meshes them together, creates this world for them, everything like that. But so this series is apparently only 7 episodes long, and at 23 minutes an episode, basically it kind of makes it a 2.5-hour animated movie, broken up into 7 episodes, the way they're telling the story. So while I am enjoying it, it'll be interesting to see if splitting it up was the right choice, or you should have just released this as an animated feature.
I have a little bit of fear that we're going to think in the end that they probably should have done small episodes that they released ahead of time just with these character backstories that they're doing the Lost thing with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Though the one scene where they're fighting and then all of a sudden it's flashback to them fucking like that. If they do more stuff like that, not necessarily the fighting and the fucking thing, but
No,
you know, more of that like
I want GI Robot fighting and fucking flashback.
Got a jackhammer down there.
Gonna fuck your Nazi ass up.
Yeah. Anyways.
He's
But,
gonna have
yeah,
to be
just
gay if
with
he fucks anybody.
These like parallels, you know, that's nice. But again, what is it for? You know what I mean? I don't understand. Like, what is it for? Okay, I understand. What did she wanted to get this necklace, but what does it really make her feel? Like, you know, why did she really need this necklace? You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah, that was a weird story. That was a weird story beat because like she could have technically got back anytime she wanted to.
Yeah,
Couldn't she
well,
have?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So why now?
Why now?
I mean, why now is because they're there. They're there.
Right.
The
But
accessibility.
why didn't she would be more of the question. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you needed to have a conversation at least where she did. Like, and it sounds corny, but you almost needed that cartoony. Like, if you want to go cartoony, she should have had a conversation with Nina, and there should have been this fucking backstory that was animated. You know what I mean?
that's where you could have done the montage.
Yeah, you could have done the montage.
Yeah.
We're going through, and then I never went back there because you know what I mean. These people, but now I'm here, so I need to just go ahead and get this because it means this to me. This is why I'm here. You know, that's something. You know, it just doesn't. You know, again, that's just what was lost on me on this. I understand what the Skeleton Crew is and what the rest of the show's going to be.
Yeah,
It's going to be them
and
trying to find their way home.
and I enjoy the mystery for Skeleton Crew, the
Yes.
mystery of the planet and the mystery of all this other stuff and what they're doing with the kids and everything. This, like I said, I have this feeling that by the end of this, we've talked about it before, but more so on this one, I think, than anything we've seen before, is this feels right now like it probably should just be a 2.5-hour feature.
And who's Circe? Like, who is Circe in this, and why is she doing this, and what's her motivation? What is anybody's motivation in this show?
Yeah.
It's just that's. I hope they get to that very quickly in the next one.
You have some?
Did Miranda? Sorry, I didn't get it.
No, she's last. She's coming up.
No, I'm just watching them ramble on for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Listen, James is not here, so we've got to take it where we can get it. All right.
If she truly wanted to be James, she would have interrupted us 15 times by now and just gone on.
That's fair, but to also be fair, the last episode he like fell asleep, so there's that.
That was because that was 2.5 hours, and
and
we
he drank a lot.
we swore off doing that a long time ago, and then lied to ourselves. Apparently, that's
Yeah.
So.
So why isn't he drunk at this point? I mean, he's dealing with children and he doesn't want to deal with them. So.
Oh, he's definitely not watched any of this.
Oh no, not at all.
Oh, no.
Seen a post on Facebook.
He's gonna have to catch up on 3 episodes.
He would have posted his negative review already. Like James Cope, pile of trash. I don't understand why this is animated.
Yeah.
This is such a waste of our time. We've already been through a lot of these characters. Why are we rehashing things that have already been gone over? We've seen these characters repeated. I don't understand why we also need this animated. This is it's redundant at this point. We understand how James Gunn's MO works and how he writes his stories, and I feel like we're just rehashing things in an animated version that I don't think anybody would need to care about or spend their time on. I don't understand why this entire thing is even happening.
Exactly. Shelly did it.
Yes.
And that's why I'm rated a 2 out of 6.
Yes. That hashtag Shelly would have fucked him better. Yeah.
So you're doing it. James Cope is doing 2 out of 6.
Oh yeah.
2 out of 6.
That's a little bit better
No.
than the last one. And that's simply because there's no kids.
No, it's not because.
Yeah. No, there's no.
1.5 for the last.
No, but it was 1.5 out of 5.
Oh,
So the math is about
Yeah.
the math is about the same.
Wait, hold on. And just because Matt's closer to the 6. Then
Yeah, I want to see 6.
Hold on,
Just so
let
we
me
see
get
it.
see.
And Miranda
She just wants to lay her dick on the table. It's okay.
Why does GI Robot have a fedora? Oh no, that's an army helmet. That's an army helmet. Excuse me.
And Miranda,
That's fine.
how about you? What is your
Yep, your actual score.
rating?
I was gonna give it a 3.5 until I found out, as Mr. Christie said, this is only gonna be 7 episodes.
Yep. That's apparently.
So if you're trying to feed us all that information, you better feed it really fucking quick. Because if you're going to spend this amount of backstory time on one character that you're not really finishing out, we're just going to speed run the rest of the characters real quick and hope that you're intrigued, and then hope that we have, a couple seasons of this at least to really delve into those characters.
Characters that are in this series, I'm very much now wondering if you did one episode of here's all the characters, and then your second episode is the bride. Are we just gonna simply get
Well, the next episode
each?
the next episode is GI Robot,
Yeah.
and I think they're going to. There's a Weasel episode, obviously. There's a Nina episode, obviously, and there's a Phosphorus episode.
Then you need to deep digger into those characters,
Instead of
unless
Frankenstein,
we're
you got
trying to
one.
go further
So
with
they
this
got
entire
Frankenstein
show.
tied in with-
I couldn't find it.
Yeah, but what I'm
That's fine.
saying is that's the only difference is you won't get a Frankenstein one because
Well,
you already got it with the bride.
Yeah.
You'll just have a continuation of what that story is because now obviously Frankenstein's going to show.
What it seems like it's going to be though is that okay, we got 5 characters. First episode is introduction characters. The next 5 episodes is each individual character's backstory as we continue the main story going forward, which means the 7th episode is going to wrap everything up. The intention.
Of
So
the main story, but again,
Then you better dig real deep, and that better be a longer episode. Otherwise, you're wasting your time if this is how deep you're going to delve into the characters per episode. Because if you're not going to give real motivation, you're not going to give the reason for why they're actually locked up, then what even is the point? Like, you can't touch lightly on these characters. If you're going to really give us the motivation for each of these characters, you got to delve a lot deeper per episode.
I mean, in Peter Gunn we trust, but at the same time, yeah. No, that point being that you got 5 episodes out of 7 individualizing characters.
Very good on.
Hmm.
Very good on.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Someone saw the first 8 minutes, and you can go out and watch the first 8 minutes of Craven.
So-
Matt Christy.
Or you cannot.
or you cannot,
and
because
save
you're
yourself.
never going to see the movie at all. So Sony doing an interesting marketing tactic now of realizing their other 2 Spider-Man adjacent movies were shit. So it's like, we're going to show the first 8 minutes of this and hope we gather people in.
I mean, no one liked Venom either, apparently. So.
You know,
All 3 this year.
but Venom, no, Morbius was last year. We just got Craven. We got Craven being the 3rd for this year. So the first 8 minutes of Craven, it's fine. It introduces the character by, if you've seen the trailers, when he's going after the mob boss or whatever it's supposed to be in the prison.
Okay.
So him basically infiltrating the prison to kill that one character.
Okay.
That's what the first 8 minutes basically boils down to.
And it looks cool. Does he look cool doing his Craven?
Does he look
It's
hot?
Animal Powers.
Smoking Fat wants to know: is he a sexy man?
Yeah, it's Aaron
It's
Taylor Johnson. They have
I can watch that on TikToks later. I don't watch the movie.
they have a scene where he has his shirt off and his pants are just above his crotchal area. So yes, you see it go straight down into it. So yeah,
One.
like it's just
Dude,
Well, we all have something to jerk off to
showing
later.
off how ripped
Great.
he is.
Shots, anyone?
His animal powers look fine. It doesn't look like terrible CGI, so that's a good start, Sony. That you all don't look like terrible CGI.
And they show him use his powers at the start.
Yeah.
They don't just tease them having powers. until
No,
the
he
very end.
he has his full power set as we start the movie, because we haven't gotten to the history of Craven yet. We just straight up, this character exists and he's been doing this for a minute, so
Okay.
that's nice to see at least.
Okay. All right.
But like I said, it looks better than the other 2. Is it something that still gets me excited to see it? Not specifically. Do I have to see it because of this? Yes.
Look, it feels like just another one of these things where, and this is what I'm afraid of with, even though I love comic book movies and stuff like that, like, we're never going to get someone doing a comic book style movie that isn't already a comic book character. So now we're going to see more of this bullshit like, oh, this movie is about a guy with fucking problems, so we're going to call it the Joker because now we're going to make $1 billion off of it. Or we're going to call this movie about this guy with animal powers Craven because we want to make a movie that's about the guy with animal powers, but we don't want to fucking include any of the real shit that, makes him that character of Craven, which is just going to confuse things when and if any actual comic book movies want to use those characters. I think that you can do things like have multiple Batmans, multiple Supermans, maybe even multiple Spider-Mans out there, but people know who those characters are. No one knows who the fuck Craven is, and now someone's first introduction to Craven that they're being told is a Marvel character is going to be this fucking thing, or Joker is going to be that fucking thing, and you got Joker fucking stinging and having sex grossly in a fucking prison with Lady Gaga, and it's just like, that's not Joker. Like, don't take that. Like, go read these comics, or like you're fucking up like the mythology of these characters to add their name to make a buck.
I do want to say that about this first 8 minutes is it's the literal first 8 minutes of the movie, studio markers included. It's like if you were watching the theater, putting it at home on DVD, it goes through the entire opening credits and logos of every studio involved and everything like that as we go through these first 8 minutes. So it doesn't. It stops right before it would be the title of the movie. But since you mentioned that, the only thing I missed from this is it doesn't have the background image of what animal he's drawing from when he uses his power set at a particular point in time. It's like, oh, we're trying to make this a hard R as opposed to making it more comic booky, where you have these images of animals behind him to show what power he's using right now.
Does his eyes glow though?
They did not glow his eyes on this one.
So what happened?
His eyes are yellowed, but they don't glow them.
Does he growl?
Maybe, but he doesn't have long nails in this now.
What does he do?
Smoking
Well,
Fat's asking the important
he
questions. He's like,
uses-
does he have a big dick?
I'm just gonna go
Well,
watch
he
it.
uses a fang from a tiger skin rug as a weapon because that's what they let the mob boss have in jail. So he just takes it off and they use it as a weapon. So, but like I said, it doesn't look terrible for the CGI of him moving around and everything else like that. And a lot of it's intercut with Aaron Taylor Johnson just showing off his abs through a shirt or just in general.
You know what I mean? We didn't fucking almost die from dehydration that day for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get all those shots in. Better show the fucking abs. They look like that for one fucking day. You know? So let's do it. All right, well, we'll be watching that, whatever it is, and the worse it is, probably the better the show will be on it. So we'll be back next week
Yeah.
with the next episode of Creature Commandos and Skeleton Crew.
Yep.
Until then, I'm Smoking Phat J.
I am Matt Christy.
I don't know who I am anymore.
Oh.
You're Miranda. Wait, Miranda. Miranda.
I gotta go
That's
take
your
a
show.
shower after that one. That's disturbing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll workshop it. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Don't
Make sure to
hurt
like,
yourselves.
subscribe, and all those things, and watch these shows.
Yes.
Peace.
Bye.